if I have a number one pet peeve in sports, it's officials who believe they are there on an equal level as the players.
It seems to take place more frequently in basketball and baseball than other sports, but I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
What you can say to an NHL official, you know this. We've studied this for years on the hockey show. You can do it in football, too.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll get a 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike. But think about what you have to do in an NFL game to get kicked out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You basically have to commit a crime.
Some of them even initiate it. And who are you? Nobody is there to see Joe West.
Yeah, that's why they wear tight shirts. Look at me.
Is that why, or is it because, like me, they're not in shape and just all shirts look tight?
Oh, no, I think those that are in shape are wearing mediums. There's a couple of medium wearing umpires out there.
Umpires? Like, I know with the referee, you get the good. A lot of those officials they're on camera. I think they lift at least for cosmetic reasons, probably not for fitness reasons. They're lifting so when they make that call, they're flexing.
I want you to pay close attention to the physical shape of the umpires for the remainder of the week with whatever baseball you're watching.
Because I have not noticed that ever.
Yeah, well, there are some
that looking either.
Yeah, there are some now that it's getting sweltering out as well. They're taking off the windbreakers. Now you've got some of the guys out there in the tight shirts.
Taking off those jackets they wear.
Your umpire windbreaker. They got some good gear.
It is that the umpires even have their own gear. They've got their own uniform. Like I always go back to if you were starting the sport today and you were writing a rule book, and you said, "All right, under what circumstances does a player get kicked out?" And I would never say ever. It goes beyond any common sense that a player who fans are there to see and watch play can say, you're having a bad day and you get kicked out of the game. That is like punching someone in the face for honking their horn. Like
that's an irrational response to something.
It's like, who are you and why are you like? And that's what has always bothered me about a lot of these NBA officials and Major League Baseball umpires is the self-importance that they have placed on themselves when all they're there, when you break it down, why are 4 umpires there? They're there to make sure that the rules are abided by and they're someone who's impartial to call a safe or an out. Now, if you start kicking dirt on somebody or if you start spitting on them and get in their face, that's a different story. But when someone turns around and acknowledges a bad call in a calm way, you're having a bad day, you think way higher of yourself than you should.
I like your warning system. That would have at the very most warranted it. Nico, that's a warning.
That's it.
Clean it up. I don't want to hear it again.
And that way all players, and it should in my world, it should take a huge thing to get a player kicked out of a game. You bump someone, you start swearing at them, you're disrespecting them. But if you make a comment, and one that could be ignored, one without vulgarity, at the very, very least, there should be a system in place. And look, they've done good stuff with rule changes where I've always said this, do the soccer thing. Hold up a yellow card.
Yeah.
And whether or not like the next batter has a penalty, like the next batter starts with 0-1. Or if you're going out in the field, if there's 3 outs, your pitcher is 1-0 now. Something like that where it's not a big deal, but now he's been put in an official warning.
Yeah.
And he knows now. Nico couldn't have anything back. Nico did nothing wrong. And again, these no-name umpires who no one is there to see, except just to make the game supposedly go by quicker and easier, it has always driven me crazy. The T system in basketball too. Like it's fine. You don't get kicked out with the first technical, but you're giving them a technical free. The way how in your face these guys can be, like you're going up for them. It is about the players. We watch sports because of a player. I have yet to meet a sports fan who's not related to an umpire and an official to ever say, you know why I'm going to the game? I'm going to see Joey Crawford officiate. That's nuts.
It
so
is.
for him to be able to take away an important player on a team in a game doesn't make any sense to me.
No. Lay off of Phil Cuzzy, though, because he doesn't do that stuff. Phil Cuzzy's above board.
Is Phil Cuzzy the guy who said that his ass is in the jackpot to the old manager of the Mets, Terry Collins?
That I don't know.
There was Tyler. Do you know the famous argument I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me
Google if that's Phil Cuzzy. If you could pull, it's one of my favorite arguments in baseball. It was a few managers ago. It was like the 2015 or 16 Mets. Terry Collins was running out there.
Tom Hallion.
It was Tom Hallion. I like Tom Hallion. Tom Hallion was all about, I'll take him. And they passed off the umpire. He was mad at one ump. And then Tom Hallion came in, and he goes, I'll take him. And he went over, and he tried to calm Terry Collins down.
Yeah.
And he goes, Terry, my ass is in the jackpot. What do you want me to do, Terry? And, like, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
They're supposed to calm things down, control the game, but not take players out of a game for saying a sentence.
Do you think that this guy just kind of ruins it for all of his colleagues? Because my guess is the vast majority of these guys are doing it in the manner in which you want them to do it. Some have a look at me, situation. But I would think that most baseball players would tell you the vast majority of these guys are all okay. They're all good.
I think for the most part, but Jesse also texted a few former umpires.
No, I heard, and they
said they would throw them out
it.
too. I don't do you understand my basis of this is if you were starting the rules today,
Yeah.
does the punishment fit the crime?
No question it does not. Again, and you have the benefit of listening to what Nico actually said to the umpire, and under no circumstances would I ever believe that would get you run from a game. Now, I could see the ump taking his mask off and looking at Hoerner and saying, hey, listen, enough, okay?
Yeah,
Look,
that's it. Look,
okay,
Nico,
you've
I'm
made
not
your
having
point.
it today. I got it, and let's
Yes.
I think
Move on.
Like Jesse referenced the Doug Eddings thing, and I heard a couple callers too yesterday. And let me get this off my chest too. Before anyone, I'm sure I've gotten a tweet or someone, I see the scrolling going on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Waddle and Silvy to watch us live. By no means am I saying that the Cubs lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers because of umping.
Right.
I am not. This is not bitching about calls per se. This is about my biggest issue in sports. Like if I have a number one pet peeve in sports, it's officials who believe they are there on an equal level as the players.
It seems to take place more frequently in basketball and baseball than other sports,
Yes.
but I don't. Maybe
Oh,
I'm wrong. I don't know.
What you can say to an NHL official, you know this. We've studied this for years on the hockey show.
That's true.
Where you can get away with talking to these guys. You can do it in football too.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll get a 15-yard penalty on sportsman. But think about what you have to do in an NFL game to get kicked out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Think
You
of- to get
basically
kicked
have
out.
to commit a crime.
Like you're going from A to Z, and I hate that. I hate that about. And then you give them this chesty attitude then where some of them even initiate it. And who are you? You are simply there to make sure the game's going.
My least
smoothly.
favorite is the stare down coming from the men in blue, the umpires. When they take off their mask and they'll just stare into a dugout.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. Say one more thing. Tempt me to toss you.
There was an old video I watched before this, and now it just came up based on you. It was Bumgarner, who always had some issues with Madison Bumgarner with some umpires. Do you know how they come off and they check your hand? This
Yeah.
was going around social media the other day. This ump intentionally.
For goo. Yeah, they're checking him for goo.
He had his hand in the ump's hand. The umpire was just tapping his fingers on his hand while staring at Bumgarner. He was not even looking down at the hand, and he was waiting for Bumgarner to stare up at him. And Bumgarner's like waiting, like my hand's being held a long time, and he finally looked up, and this umpire's just staring at him. And it made Bumgarner go off. this was the umpire starting things.
Same guy?
Well, no, I don't think no.
okay.
No,
In that
I'm just saying it's what to your point about the stare job.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah. Here's hoping that it is a very small percentage of those that are umpiring Major League Baseball games. I don't know how the players feel. Maybe has there ever been like a survey done by Major League Baseball players approving or disapproving of the overall performance of umpires collectively?
Why can't the player? They should, like, once a week you get a chance to throw out an umpire for over bad calls. If they have the right to throw you out, and my kid has never gone to one of these baseball card stores and bought an umpire card.
No.
Like, they don't sell those, do they? They don't have umpire trading cards. These guys think they're the show.
I'm sure the answer to this question is yes, but I'll ask it anyway. Has a catcher ever intentionally just let one go through to send a message to an umpire?
Oh, yeah. I think that happened recently in a college baseball game.
I would guess that probably happens
On a pretty regular basis.
not regular basis, but I bet each team probably has one a year.
Well, they'll throw one high, and the catcher will kind of like move his mitt down, and then it hits the umpire in the face.
Now, with all of this said, and I agree with you 100% on it, how many games have the Cubs played? Like, this is the first time this has kind of happened, right?
70 almost?
So
Where
70,
are they? What are they up to now, Tyler?
68? Where they may have
65.
65. They're 40 and 25. Where they may have had some issues with guys, but this is the first time any of the Cubs either play or man? First time that Counsell's been wrong, right?
Yeah.
In his Cubs career,
I think Dustin Kelly got tossed earlier this year.
Okay, so
the hitting coach.
And supposedly,
that's right. I remember that.
I told you guys the inner working. I'm not saying that this happened Saturday night in Detroit, but what, day game Detroit Saturday, day game Sunday. So I was just giving you stories of the first time I met Doug Eddings. Doug Eddings was an open book to me at Smith & Walensky. This was around 07, 08, a couple years after the AJ thing. We were talking about that, and I was asking him who are the toughest guys, who are the easiest guys, who are the coolest guys. And they're out because they just got done with their game. They got it, and they're drinking and they're eating. And I bet you the crew was out. Doug Eddings had the plate the night before. And then whoever was at first, the guy who had home on Sunday, they're probably talking over dinner. Boy, the Cubs were giving us a lot of crap all day today. They were chirping all day. Doug Eddings yelled at the Cubs, dugout, all right, that's enough. I'm going to get better, something like that. And I'm sure stories were told, and I'm sure this umpire came in already with a chip on his shoulder. And as soon as someone challenged him, he got all mighty and he tossed him.
Sucks. It's not what people pay for.
No, not at all. Brian in Naperville, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Brian?
Hey guys, yeah, my brother-in-law, he's been listening. He's out in I think he's in Raleigh, North Carolina now. He just did the UNC Super Regional game yesterday. He said not knowing what went on earlier in the game, and he said when you make it personal, that's when you have a problem. And basically, he said you suck. Is basically what he told him. He
didn't say. He said you suck in the moment. You're sucking. You're sucking today so far.
Yeah,
but he didn't say you suck, and he just said you're having a bad day.
Presentation is meaningful.
Really he just said it different ways. All he did is what he did.
But
and
we do this. But Brian, we do this every day in our lives, and how we present our message actually, is important. Presentation matters.
And he said if he would have just said, hey, that was low, that was outside, nothing probably happens. But as soon as it got personal, that's when it goes wrong.
Really?
That's where, personal. Like, if I'm the commissioner.
And I'm not, and he's been doing this for 30 years. He did the College World Series 2 years ago.
Oh, it's a thankless job. What umpires do is a thankless job. The problem I have with umpires is not when they miss calls, it's when they start stuff for no reason, or they abuse their authority. That was personal. Come on, I mean, like, that is not a personal thing.
That's fairly thin-skinned from my perspective.
Yeah,
to say that was. But you know what?
This is usually where all the umpires come out of the woodworks, and I told you in youth sports, I think it's the worst of the worst when you start going after umpires, whether it's a kid or an adult or whoever it is. There's so many games. They're trying to make a living. They're making some side cash. They're probably not getting paid a whole heck of a lot. The game can't start without an ump. I never jump on an umpire. What I get mad about a professional ump is when they think they're the show, where they think there's like a Sports Center reel of the plays of the week from the men in blue. Get out of here.
Well, you guys used to go in and imitate the different calls that NBA refs would.
Joey Carr, right.
So they were obviously leaving an impression on you as you would watch them.
Joey Crawford's dad was a baseball umpire, wasn't he? Wasn't it Jerry Crawford?
I think so.
And like it ran in the family.
Again, like I said, like I'm with you that this is kind of nonsensical to me. Nobody is buying a ticket to watch an umpire. My hope is that this is the exception to the rule and that this isn't happening. It seems like it was happening more frequently years ago. I don't know that I've seen as many incidents like this before.